ARD.
The Mediterranean, picturesque and idyllic, as long as one doesn't look too closely. Its habitats could hardly be any more diverse. Animals from Europe, Asia and Africa all come together here. The continents from which they originate are undergoing constant change. Hot springs and some of the Earth's most active volcanoes are here. A sea full of surprises. In some places, time seems to have stood still. Dreamlike bathing bays and sleepy harbors. Hardly anything indicates that the Med and its coasts are going through constant change. About 100 kilometers north of Sicily, an island rises almost 1,000 meters out of the sea. Stromboli. As everyone here, tourists stroll through the narrow streets. And on the beach, fishermen go about their work. At first sight, an ordinary, everyday Mediterranean island. But it has a second face. Stromboli is one of the most active volcanoes on Earth. A ticking bomb. The inhabitants on the other side barely notice a thing. It's quite spooky underwater, too. A hostile place, almost uninhabited. One animal has been able to assert itself here. The octopus. It belongs to the most intelligent species. Learning ability and intellectual capacity of the mollusk has fascinated scientists for a long time. Perhaps he has, like we humans, even his own consciousness. At Stromboli, the kraken continuously displays strange behavior. As if he had seen a ghost, the octopus flees and searches for a hiding place. With good reason. No one notices anything in town. But the fishermen observe something that stands in close connection. When the volcano is active, they will catch next to no octopus. The exact connection remained unsolved for a long time. The kraken have a special capability that no other animals at Stromboli have. They hear the volcano, and this before it erupts. Octopods can perceive subsonic noise. Audio frequencies so deep that we humans don't even notice them. The deep rumbling of the volcano warns this kraken long before the eruption. The Sahara del Fuoco, the fire slide, lives up to its name. Tons of rock and stone fall into the water. This has devastating consequences for fish and seabed marine animals. The eruption was short, but intense, especially underwater, where the destructive power of the volcano makes itself known. Small fish are the first on the scene to pounce on the victims. But he too doesn't waste too much time. The fish have to go. They have no chance against him. And he's not alone. His conspecifics are being sighted all over. Now the word is, eat as fast as you can. Only the octopods themselves know how much time they have until the next eruption. The volcano is the mysterious ally of the kraken. Thanks to their early warning system, they are equipped for life at the foot of the volcano. But just why are there such extreme habitats in the Mediterranean region? The Mediterranean basin has only had its current appearance for some 5 million years. Its contours are not hewn into stone. The continental plates still continue to press and pull at one another. Earthquakes and volcanic activity occur at the seams. In some places, like Stromboli, the activity is in full swing. Elsewhere, they are having a brief respite. Like on Sardinia, the mountain ranges and gorges of the island still display the once phenomenal geological forces. Plateaus tower everywhere one looks. As the volcanoes still spewed, they blanketed the mountains with a thick layer of volcanic basalt. The Giara di Gestori lies on one of these basalt plains. An unusual volcanic habitat, mostly due to its inhabitants. Wild horses. The volcano left a watertight basalt plate behind that completely covers the high plateau. Rain is unable to drain off and has formed a lake on the former volcano. A livelihood for the horses. 600 of them live up here. It can be a bit tight at times. As herd animals, they remain in small units. The lead stallion keeps the mares together. The horses share the volcano summit with several other animals. Storks hunt for frogs in between them. And next door, a nutria family has just moved in. Like the horses, the rodents have vegetarian diets. Plants, herbs, and diverse grasses provide variety. Normally, it is very strange for horses to stand in water. Here, it is a matter of course. The water is much more than a pasture to graze in. Adult horses have to drink at least 50 litres daily. This would not be possible anywhere else on Sardinia. Whenever the animals have had enough water, they find variety between the cork oaks. Wild herbs that cannot be found in the water, as well as shade from the midday sun. The younger ones also already appreciate the trees. The foals are almost always close to their mothers. They can choose here between a vegetable diet and mother's milk. The little ones can even enjoy a bit of midday sleep, as the herd provides protection. And for foals, the herds have yet another advantage. They quickly find a playmate. Life on the basalt plateau sounds heavenly. The essential water only remains up here. The horses arrive daily on the border of the plateau. Behind, it's a steep drop of several hundred meters. 12 kilometers in length by roughly 5 kilometers, a unique habitat thanks to the volcano. An oasis for wild horses. The basalt plateaus of Sardinia are not the only results of geological activity. Further east, in the Aegean, it gets a bit hot under the collar too. The volcanic Greek island of Santorini. Once a supervolcano that tore itself apart during a huge explosion more than 3,000 years ago. The volcano sank. Today, only the edge of the crater protrudes from the sea. On its slopes of ash is the picturesque village of Ia. Away from the villages, the coasts are rugged and barely inhabited. The volcanic origin can also be observed underwater. Hot gases leak out of the seabed. Like a whirlpool for monk seals. These young are amongst the last of their kind. They're very playful. Life for the monk seals is not as carefree as it seems. Many of the animals are shot by fishermen who fear the competition. This is why the mothers raise their young in remote places. The exploited Mediterranean has brought not only the seals, but also the fishermen to the brink of collapse. Today, there are only a few hundred, most of which are in the Aegean. The volcanism is caused by the continental drift. To this day, the African plate incessantly advances beneath its European neighbor. Volcanoes are created in its wake. Due to the drift, in Europe, mountain ranges arose and different climate zones developed. Not so the African coastal region. This remained flat and dry. This, too, is Mediterranean coast. On the other side, in Africa. The farther away one moves from the sea, the more drier and spectacular the desert becomes. The Sahara. Here, dryness and heat reign. One hardly ever sees the inhabitants. Vegetation can only be found where the damp Mediterranean air reaches the dunes. In the desert, a small predator is on the hunt. A fennec. The desert fox is the world's smallest. This female is actually smaller than a domestic cat. Their ears are by far superior to their eyes. Nothing escapes these huge ears. This sand beetle is just a small snack, but she can rarely eat even this undisturbed. The desert lark wants the beetle leftovers. A risky game. The bird could become a victim itself. The lark is one of the few animals she has to put up with when on the hunt. Otherwise, there are hardly any inhabitants, with one exception. She has nothing to fear from the dromedaries. She just can't stand these noises. Bedouins. Nowadays, they are rarely seen. The natives lead their animals here to graze. The people consciously maintain their traditions, even though the days of the trading caravans are in the distant past. Stories about the dangers of such journeys are still very much alive. There was a time when the Bedouins were threatened by leopards and lions. Today, there are hardly any predators left in the northern African Mediterranean. One of them is the desert fox. The female has been on the hunt very often during the past few days, and with good reason. Her young are just a few weeks old, but already pretty bright. The youngest fox cub doesn't want to play. His torn ear is the result of the last scuffle. He prefers to keep away from his wild siblings. The mother is aware of her offspring's weakness. But there is nothing really that she can do. Her most important task is to show the youngsters how to look after themselves. She helps them arouse their hunting instincts and shows them what to do. With little success. Her young just want the beetle. She's not going to make it easy for them. She crunches the beetle to entice the little ones, but then takes it back. It's important to recognize the smell, to be able to follow an animal later. While the siblings dutifully search for the beetle, one has noticed the trick. The straggler has been following the events from a distance. If he wants to survive, he will need to show a little more courage. Mother knows this only too well and is worried. The mother leaves her offspring on its own again. Only in this way, without her help, will they be able to learn. At first sight, the coasts of North Africa and Europe appear to have very little in common. Are there similarly extreme habitats on the other side of the ocean? There really is a desert in Europe too. The Tabernas in southern Spain. 240 millimeters precipitation per year and temperatures above 40 degrees centigrade. This makes it Europe's only real desert. It lies sandwiched between the Mediterranean and a high mountain region. The Sierra Nevada mountain region is responsible for the extreme climate. The clouds almost conceal the 3,000-meter tall peaks. The few that make it evaporate before they can release their contents. Like in the Sahara, mostly small animals and insects live here. And just like in Africa, if it really is too hot, they simply disappear. This scorpion has no problem with the temperature. His foray doesn't go by unnoticed. A praying mantis. The spirited intervention leaves the scorpion without a chance. His toxic sting remains ineffective. Birds are even attracted here from Africa. European bee-eaters accept the long way here. They find more food for their offspring in Europe. Everything begins with a bridal gift. Unlike in the Sahara, the scene changes once a year. When in spring the snow in the mountains begins to melt, the water trickles down into the desert. Suddenly, rivers begin to materialize. Plants and flowers bloom for a short time. Now, birds from the environs come to the tabernas. Most restrict their visit to the edge of the desert, there where there are still some trees. Conditions are ideal for the Eurasian hoopoe and its offspring. Nonetheless, the parents can hardly cover their food requirements. The little ones wait, more or less patiently. At nightfall, an almost unknown hunter enters the stage. The genet. It too roams through this area. It has one thing in common with the fennec and the bee-eater. It is actually indigenous to Africa. As it also avoids the real desert there, it has no problems here. It's simply routine for her to overcome a sleeping bird. It's highly unlikely to encounter a genet in the desert. Just a few beetles would never be enough for it. If one compares the development history of the tabernas with the Sahara, the differences become explicitly clear. This desert was once the sea. Its current appearance boasts a compact layer of sediments. Rain and rivers later plowed through the tabernas, thereby shaping mountains and canyons. Belongs to the most extreme habitats of the Mediterranean, but it can't keep up when compared to the Sahara. Here the conditions are by far more extreme. The fennec pups are still alone. Their mother has left them behind to go hunting. The youngsters practice tracking. The toad should play dead. Someone there? The youngster can't detect anything yet. First of all, an olfactory test. The fennec has never seen anything like this toad before. The little brother with the torn ear is in no hurry to go hunting. He prefers to stay home. His older brother is already on the advanced course. Now, he too makes the acquaintance of the desert lark. He's rarely frustrated, and quickly finds a new trail. He proudly brings his prey to a safe place. The smallest one spots this. Perhaps he can have a bit? The little one is not prepared to accept such an aggressive refusal. The siblings can hardly believe their eyes. They've never seen the latecomer like this before. The older brother sees himself as the victor. He's long forgotten his beetle, but not the nestling. He lost the fight with his brother, but the prey is his. The little ones slowly become tired. They haven't noticed that something is brewing all around them. It's the sirocco, the desert wind of the Mediterranean. It sometimes reaches enormous speeds. That's when it carries sand from the Sahara over the sea to Central Europe. The fennec mother is hours away from her offspring's den. She is torn between head and heart. She has no choice. The wind will soon reach hurricane force. Then there is no chance of survival here. Like it or not, she takes cover. A few hours after the storm has subsided, the mother reaches her home. The surroundings have changed. There's no trace of her young. The den has been buried. How many have survived? Her youngest has also made it. The desert alongside the Mediterranean has perhaps many challenges in store. Nevertheless, the desert foxes have managed to survive here. They have adjusted to this life under extreme conditions. To this day, the African continent is drifting toward Europe. Several centimeters annually. The African plate slides inexorably under its European counterpart. Just like in the Strait of Messina, between Sicily and the Italian mainland. There are hardly 3 kilometers between the shores. The island Sicily was pushed so close to the Italian boot that just one narrow passage between them remained. This leads to the notoriously strong currents, and they bring an abundance of life with them. Messina's actual sensation lies in the deep. Steep and deep along the continental shelf. The sea off the coast of Italy reaches depths of more than 3,000 meters. A prehistoric giant lives down there. The blunt-nosed six-gill shark. The colossus can be 5 meters long and weigh more than 700 kilograms. He spends his life directly above the interface of the continents. He is a rarity in the Mediterranean. The Straits of Messina are one of his last retreats. He can only survive in the depths of the ocean trench. But there is an even deeper place in the Mediterranean, even though it is hardly recognizable at first sight. Crete. The island's northeast is a popular holiday resort. The south of the island is the most authentic. And this is where its greatest secret lies. The African shelf slides beneath the Eurasian shelf directly off this coast. The deepest part of the Mediterranean. The Hellenic deep-sea trench is some 5,000 meters deep. Room enough for a very special animal. Our world's largest predator, the sperm whale. Over 20 meters long and a weight of more than 50 tons. It takes many years for them to reach this size. This calf is not quite 2 years old. At birth, he was already 5 meters long and weighed almost a ton. The young stay with the mother for about 2 years. Soon, he will be able to take care of himself. Sperm whales can be found in all of our oceans. It just has to be deep. Squids can be found down there, a sperm whale's prey. In the Mediterranean, conditions like this can only be found off Crete. At the moment, the youngster can't yet accompany his mother on the hunt. He is not alone. An estimated 200 sperm whales live in the Hellenic deep-sea trench. The giants are family animals. Sometimes a dozen or so will come together. Whenever they take a break from hunting, they meet on the surface to relax. Older bulls are missing in such groups, they only join when it's time for the family to mate. The sperm whales used to come from the Atlantic into the Med. In the deep-sea trench off Crete, they discovered an ideal habitat. Sperm whales have no natural enemies. Only human beings and the pollution of our seas cause the mammals any problems. The whales appear restless. Suddenly, the group begins to move. The animals gather together. The mother and her young are also alarmed. They set course for the family. The members come together from all corners. Something is not quite right. A female begins to writhe and squirm. The older ones form a safety ring around the female in order to protect her. Barely visible, a miracle is happening within. A sperm whale baby is born. The little one has to be supported to be able to take his first breath. The mother keeps turning onto her side in attempts to push the baby upwards. Easier said than done. But it works at last. The largest predator in the world lives in the Med and has found a place where it can survive. Thanks to the continental drift, extreme sea depths were created off the coast of Crete, which are vital for the survival of the sperm whales. The Mediterranean area is still geologically highly active. Continents meet here that could hardly be more different than they already are. These extremes facilitate room for the most diverse of inhabitants. Some, due to the prevalent natural forces, find themselves at their limits. Others couldn't exist without them.